Well, the water is open and spring has sprung. It's got me thinking about maple tapping. This year's been a bit unusual with an early spring, but the birds are back, the geese are calling and on the river, so off to the cabin I must go. The crows have even started nesting, and I'm starting to see the little bird nest from last year, so animals are thinking about spring. And look, I found an old nest from a turtle, so pretty soon the snappers will be out nesting as well. So I headed to my neighborhood CDL to pick up some maple sugaring equipment, and they have a great supply here in store. Look at all that good stuff. So with my supplies in hand, I marched off to the cabin. The cabin is a little bit snowier than where I was hiking, and the water isn't quite open there in some areas. As you can see, the bay is beautifully iced over, but the ice isn't very safe except close near shore. I was greeted by beautiful pine siskins throughout the treetops. Have a listen. That evening, I had a lovely supper, and I had a peek at my old journals to find out when I tapped last year. It looks like when I tapped last year, I put in some taps around March the 18th. So typically it's between the 8th and the 20th. So I'm a little early this year if I do it. Supper was really good. It was curried rice. And in 2021, I tapped March 20th. We're all tucked in for the night here, ready for tapping tomorrow. Well, we woke up to a beautiful day. It was kind of cloudy and warm. This time of year, the snow is really granular, and the snow is melting away from the sides of the trees, so I know it's ready to get those taps in. I had breakfast, I had some coffee, and I'm loving my new little oven here, so I'm making some waffles for breakfast just to get in the mood for maple season. And of course, I had them with some eggs. Delicious. We'll take a look at this. Do I know how to do breakfast at the cabin, or do I know how to do breakfast at the cabin? And let's pop on some delicious maple syrup to get us in the spirit. Ooh, that looks good. And you know what? It tasted even better than it looks. I wish you guys were here. Well, the sap should be running today. It's at 5 degrees. Sap runs the best when it's +5 and -5 at night. So my little setup here, I use 20-liter pails, and I just drill 5/16 or a half-inch, actually I drill a half-inch hole in here so that I can put in my tubing. Not a lot of snow in the woods this year, guys. It's kind of weird. You can see the snow is actually melting away from the trees quite a bit. I mean, normally it's up to my knees at this point around the cabin in past years, but a little different this year. So it's a bit nicer to kind of walk in with my equipment. I'm only going to put in about 5 taps this year, I think. Take it easy on the trees after the rough year or two they've all had between the derricos and the forest fires and things like that. We'll just take a little easy on them this year. It's just for personal use only. So I drill the 5/16 hole in the tree, and yay, the sap is running. Take a look at that. Liquid gold. This year I'm using, these taps are actually antimicrobial. They've got silver nanoparticles within the plastic, and 36-inch drop line into my pails. So we'll just tap these into the tree and put them into the bucket. And as you can see, the sap is actually running pretty well today. The temperature is just right. So they'll be collected in the buckets, and I'll go back and collect them in about a week. But this poses a unique challenge for the temperatures this year. It's gonna be pretty warm in the double digits. So what I do is I put much snow as I can around those buckets to keep the sap fresh. And as always, I love feeling the last bit of snow on my toes. After setting the taps, Royce and I had some fun in the field, possibly for our last run on the snowmobile. And I'm off to have some lunch, quesadillas. Yummy. Thanks for joining me in this video. I hope you have a great week. See you next time. Bye.